It's now 2023, that means we can break down 2022 new car sales figures and see what's gaslighting and what isn't.
Australians are driving record car sales across the country.
Out in front by an absolute country mile is Toyota. They are 2.5 times ahead of the second place Mazda.
More than 1 in 5 of those was a Toyota.
Can you believe that? 2.5 times the cars they sold. They sold 231,000 cars.
Massive.
Whereas Mazda's was in the 95, around there. That's the difference. That's how far ahead Toyota are.
Oh yeah. Just to go back for a sec, Jordo, we are talking about Australia, so these figures don't sound too big, but you know, for our population, they're not too bad, you'd have to think.
And bigger is proving better, with utes and SUVs dominating demand.
They represent more than 3/4 of all sales.
So utes and SUVs represent 3/4 of all sales, he says. 3/4.
Massive.
And people wonder why performance cars don't exist.
This is what Australia wants. They want the most boring cars you can drive, SUVs and dual cab utes.
Pure vanilla. That's a 10.
Of the 1 million vehicles sold in 2022, the Toyota Hilux took the top spot for the 7th straight year.
7th straight year.
Toyota had Hilux, Land Cruiser, RAV4, Corolla, all in the top 10, I think.
The only way you get to stay number one is to be number one.
They have a car for every segment. That's how far their domination is here.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Their tagline, Jordo, should be vanilla cars for vanilla drivers.
Third place was Kia.
Kia.
Kia actually came up ahead of Hyundai. Hyundai is the more established company.
But the i30, the Hyundai i30 was in the top 10, yeah?
Yeah. 1 in 5 cars though is a Toyota. That's how much their dominance is.
Say that again.
Dominance is. Pure dominance.
Dominance. Can you imagine in the tea break room what they would have been talking about?
We're doing it better than anybody else alive.
Toyota is like the Goldberg of the car manufacturers. The winning streak continues and never seems to end.
You know what's even more ridiculous, Jordo? They could have shut up shop in about April and still won the title.
You guys are number one.
They're actually one of the manufacturers too that had a better supply of chips. So the chips shortage issue.
Well, there's plenty of cars like their new Land Cruiser. They're on back order for 30 years or something.
But look, more importantly is, remember about, 3-4 months ago, the media were making a big deal because Toyota came in on some global scale that they ranked really poorly because they're not selling EVs. Shouldn't it be all doom and gloom? How on earth did they win this sales race without all the electric cars?
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
A lot of those cars are hybrids. A lot of RAV4s, Camrys.
Look, electric vehicles.
You mean BEVs, battery electric vehicles.
Battery electric vehicles, where are they all? Toyota, I don't think they sell one here, do they?
I could be wrong. It's not my forte, but I don't think so.
Mitsubishi don't sell one either. I can't believe Mitsubishi came in 5th on this thing. But then again, all they sell is SUVs and that's all people want. And they sell, what is it, what's their one called? This is how much I pay attention to utes. What's the Mitsubishi ute called?
Their oil burner is the Triton. Triton.
Yeah, that's so that obviously did well as well. So all they sell is that Triton, all these SUVs, and that's probably why they've ended up halfway up the list.
Speaking of Toyota, did you see the new GR thing, whatever you call it? It's like they're calling it like the answer to the Raptor. Just insert the Goodfellas laughing. answer to the Raptor with it's a 165 kilowatt oil burner.
Nah, Luke, didn't it get like another 15 kilowatts? Just blazing power upgrades or something? Massive upgrades there, massive upgrades. Brands like Nissan and Volkswagen, especially Volkswagen, you think, oh, they sell a lot. They were well down. Nissan were, I think, 35% down on sales and ended up way down the list.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
They've had a lot of supply issues, haven't they?
Look, they barely outsold Tesla here.
What?
What do Nissan even sell though? What do they sell?
Crap extra.
Your mouth, shut it.
Look, they sell a lot of CVTs, I can tell you that.
Well, they got their new Z, but cars like that, I mean, they're just like full niche cars.
I remember many bench talks ago, you mentioned Ram trucks and people were like, oh, who's gonna buy that?
They're everywhere.
52% increase in sales. Now, I won't just use blazing stats because that doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
They sold, I think, over 6,000 of these big Ram trucks. Now, to put that in perspective, Jeep only outsold them by about 200 cars. Jeep.
Buys a Jeep.
Who buys a Jeep?
Thanks for clicking on this tech video.
Going back to RAM, you said they sold 6,000. That's because they cannot convert them any faster. They're running 24 shifts down there. Well, they've just started selling the new model. Like they've been selling an old model
one,
for a while. You know what I mean?
But you make a good point there, because it's not like they can send them over here and sell them. What are these manufacturers are having to convert them to right-hand drive before they sell them? That's a massive hurdle.
It just shows what people want to drive you, though.
But look, if you have a look at the media that covered these sales figures, a lot of spin with the headlines.
Oh yeah.
Chinese cars accounted for more than 10% of new motor vehicle sales in 2022. 5 years ago, they represented less than 1% of the market.
10%.
Well, it says more than 10. It says more than 10, so then I break it down.
I have the proof.
Motor vehicles manufactured in
China
now account for 11.4% of the total new car market, compared to, say, Japan 30%, Thailand 22%. If you do a bit of a deep dive into these figures, that includes, of course, Teslas and Polestar made in
China,
even though they're not Chinese brands.
Nah, back out of here.
get the fuck out of here.
So it's just saying, oh, cars manufactured in
China,
they're not China. They're not effectively Chinese cars. They're not designed in
China.
That's rubbish.
Yes, okay.
I think the biggest doozy of this list, coming in 7th, was MG. They sold nearly 50,000 cars. MGs.
Say that again.
50,000 cars.
What?
MGs. Earlier this year, I was up on the Gold Coast. I'm not joking. There were MGs just breeding like cockroaches. They were everywhere.
What is revealed is Pete's worst nightmare.
Just mainly driven by boomers, retired boomers that headed north. These were lining the streets everywhere, and I just kept looking, look at that. $25,000 absolute POV pack little SUV, all over the roads, everywhere.
They are. You see them everywhere. I don't get it.
That is one big pile of shit.
The resale on these cars, yeah, they're totally disposable cars, like a phone, yeah.
But there were headlines.
Like,
look, there were headlines.
5 or 6 years, gone.
Don't they come with a 7-year warranty? I mean, let's just see how. I don't even think they got test started that long, so let's see how these go and how the warranty's going. But
I don't know. It's not so much that. I mean, would you want to go and buy one that's like 7 or 8 years old?
No.
Not a chance.
Not this time.
Remember the old Holden Craptiva? What a bucket.
But look, there was like a headline: MG outsold Hyundai and Mitsubishi. But then you read the article, and it's just for December. This doesn't mean anything.
Outsold. That's why you've always got to look at the 12-month sale figures. They didn't outsell them. They'll just, and this is, it's sort of rubbish. They're going about sales figures. They're not sales figures. They're delivered. It's essentially how many cars are delivered, right?
No. I think they are based on registrations. They're sales.
Yeah, you're right. But this is where it's totally gaslighting. Let's say you sell 1,000 cars in 3 months. It's actually, people go and order them and whatever. Then after the 3 months, 3,000 cars come in that third month off the boat. The 3,000 cars get delivered.
They get registered, yes.
Delivered and registered. All of a sudden, this company has sold 3,000 cars in that month. They didn't. Do you know what I mean? It's complete rubbish. That's why the month-on-month sales figures don't mean anything.
This is a time bomb.
It just means essentially when they come in.
In some ways, though, you have to account, like, the car isn't sold, though, until the person is paid the full balance. They might have paid $1,000 and they not paid anything. So it's not a sale.
I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is, it's the way the media portray it and say, this car outsold all these other cars this month.
You're right. They could...
The average person looks at that and go, oh, that car is way more popular than the other car, when in actual fact it's not. If you look at the sales figures over 12 months, say the car that it just outsold could have outsold that by 200%. You know what I mean? It's just dodgy media tactics. You see it all the time.
Welcome to the world of the media.
It's like misrepresenting the real story.
It's like when Tesla, I think, got a massive delivery here, and all of a sudden, they're the #1 selling car. There was a month whenever it was the second half of the year.
Let's say it was 4,000 sales in this month or something, and then you look at the sales figures, and the month before they'd sold 40 cars. That's why the only time you can really look at sales figures is what we're doing now, when you analyse the whole year and say, well, who sold what?
Representatives of all 3 Chinese brands in Australia, that includes our our favourite Luke, LDV.
So I'm sitting in my car.
Said they could have sold even more vehicles had they been able to import enough stock, but supply was restricted by production interruptions in the wake of the pandemic.
No shit.
Every manufacturer had supply issues, not just Chinese ones.
I've got nothing left.
Now look, there is a Chinese brand called Chery. Chery?
Chery. Are you sure it's not French? Chery.
Let's just call it Chery. You know it's named after Chevy, but in Chinese it's Chery? Is that right?
Chevy. Chevy.
You pay now.
Look, the Chery brand was sold in Australia from 2011 to 2015, but fell under a cloud after some of the vehicles were found to have contained asbestos.
We'll be fine.
A banned cancer-causing material. Chery vehicles also performed poorly in crash tests at the time.
I don't remember ever seeing a Chevy on the road.
Look, sales of electric vehicles, this is one of the other headlines, in Australia nearly doubled in 2022 compared to the year prior, as Tesla remains the top seller in the category. Yeah. Now,
that's no surprises that Tesla's leading the EV sales rate.
Now, look, they're making a point that the EV sales doubled. If you look them up, the entire EV category made up 3.1% of car sales. 3%. But apparently it's taking over the world here.
Demand for electric vehicles is also climbing, making up around 1 in 10 sales. Most are Teslas.
This video here claims that 1 in 10 sales were EVs.
Say that again.
1 in 10 sales.
What?
I'm sitting here thinking...
1 in 10?
No.
Hang on, how many cars...
Hang on.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish.
I've been trying to control myself, trying to be professional about this.
The EV segment made up 3%, right? So then I'm looking at the figures. The hybrids made up 7.5. So is it just a massive coincidence that 1 in 10, which is 10%...
Is it possible this story is true?
3 and 7 makes 10. Is that what they're referring to?
You're right. It's fact.
Because they can't be referring to...
Do you really count a hybrid as an electric car? No.
How is a hybrid?
It's a hybrid.
Hybrid Corolla in the same category as an EV. Come on.
So that's another greenwashing BS media headline.
The big lie.
To try and make it look like there's more electric cars than there are. I'm not saying electric cars aren't gaining popularity at all. My issue is the way media report things.
The opening clip of that video, it's one in 10 new cars is an electric vehicle.
Your organization is terrible.
Average person has no idea about sales figures. They're going to go, wow, 1 in 10. I better go buy me one.
Luke, we've hit a milestone. 450,000 YouTube subscribers.
Haven't we been on 449,000 for like 3 months?
Well, when we film these kind of videos, it does take a while because we actually lose subs on Bench Talk or these type of videos. So we have a little bit of a dip and then we have to go up again with a car video. So it does take some time. But it is a bit of a hard slog. We don't take it too seriously, to be honest, but it is nice to see that people out there still find our content engaging and they come back and want to view more.
At the end of the day, the sub number, whether it's 450 subs or 450,000 subs, is completely irrelevant if no one's watching your videos, which pretty much is the case with ours.
That's true.